On March 14, 2020, a man from India arrived in Rwanda and was diagnosed with COVID-19, making him the first case ever with coronavirus in the country. 6 days later, the government of Rwanda cancelled all the flights except cargo and emergency flights, which continued as usual. Now the country plans to resume flight operations on August 1, 2020, starting from neighboring and regional destinations. Final preparations are in progress at Kigali International Airport in accordance with measures to stop the spread of coronavirus, including guidelines from local health institutions and ICAO, which is the International Civil Aviation Organization. At the airport premises, a sophisticated camera faces the entrance with a control room next door to monitor passengers' body temperature. And as you move beyond the control room, a computerized machine lies in front of you, ready to check your passport, provide you with the boarding pass and tag your luggage so as to avoid any physical contact with the airport staff. All these measures and restrictions are aimed at minimizing chances to contract coronavirus.
Kuva aho guverinoma itangarije yuko ubwikorezi bwo mu kirere n'imizigo n'abagenzi.
We started preparations in the aftermath of the outbreak, and now that we are set to resume the flights, we will make sure that all guidelines for COVID-19, both local and international, are followed by everyone.
Kuzafungura bizagenda bite, hazakorwa iki? Hari amabwiriza Minisante itanga, hari amabwiriza mpuzamahanga.
We have combined guidelines from the Ministry of Health together with ICAO's policies, and we came up with a set of rules for all airport users. We have made all the necessary arrangements to resume flights safe and sound.
Twakoze ubugenzuzi burambuye buhagije ku buryo twumva gutangira ingendo zo mu kirere turi tayari kubikora kandi neza.
Passengers will transport their luggage all the way to the weighing structure, place it to the conveyor belt themselves, which will take it to the plane without anyone touching it. The passport control room has been partitioned to keep passengers away from passport controllers. 1 meter distance is marked everywhere in the airport premises to help passengers keep a safe distance from each other. Before reaching the detector facility, passengers will have to wash their hands with hand sanitizers. But what happens once on board? How do passengers and flight crew protect themselves? Social distancing here might prove to be complicated, but the national airliner Rwandair will take no chances.
We've also modified our menus on board to avoid, to try and reduce the contact between our crew and the passengers as much as possible. So you'll see a change in the menu. That's again to protect our passengers and crew members as well. Another thing is we are also implementing a policy of 1 piece of cabin luggage per passenger in order to avoid congestion on the aisles and people touching too many bags on board as well. So physical distancing on board is very difficult, but at the beginning we expect the traffic to grow gradually, so there'll be enough space in the cabin to observe social distancing. But as I've said, all the other measures which have been put in place are there to protect the passenger and the crew. So all passengers will have to have their masks on throughout the journey, and we're encouraging people to carry enough masks, especially for the long-haul flights, so that they can change their mask after every 4 hours as well. And we'll be constantly disinfecting surfaces, the washrooms, after each use to make sure all the surfaces are as clean as possible. And we'll have hand sanitizers on board as well.
These guidelines concern departing passengers. How about those from abroad? The Director General of Rwanda Biomedical Center.
Hari bisabwa umuntu uzajya ujya kuza hano mu Rwanda arasabwa kuzaba yipimishije.
Any passenger arriving in the country will be requested to present a medical report on their health status delivered by a certified specialist. And upon arrival, They will be double-checked and wait for results in a transit room before proceeding to their businesses. This concerns domestic arrivals as well, and we believe it will help us stay assured that nobody is entering the country with the virus.
uje mu ndege afite n'ubwo burwayi. Iki rero gitandukanye na mbere uko byari bimeze kuko n'ibyo bipimo mu bihugu byinshi nta n'ibyari bihari. Natwe twari tutaragira n'ubushobozi buhagije bwo gupima umubare munini w'abantu kandi murabona ko bigenda bizamuka.
This is quite different from what we used to see in the beginning, because there were no equipment to check as many people as possible, and the number of passengers will grow progressively everywhere, so we can't take the risk on our side. We will have to make sure that no new cases has entered again as it happened before.
Muri izi ndege nk'uko byatangiye nyine n'ibihugu bitandukanye aho abagenzi bahagurukira nabo bafite amabwiriza azajya asobanura ngo uwinjira mu ndege asabwa iki, avamo gute, umwanya bahana hagati yabo.
Departure countries will also have their own guidelines for passengers indicating how to behave upon arrival, how to safely get off the plane, and head to food sanitizers facility with their luggage, all the way to the airport to collect passports, visas, and medical reports before our staff escort them to their respective hotels. All these guidelines were printed out for all passengers departing or arriving.
Twarabiteganijwe byaranditswe ku buryo azajya ajya no kuza bize.
Body temperature monitoring cameras at the entrance of the airport scan passengers and send reports to computer screens which are monitored every second. From the entrance of the airport to the luggage conveyor belt, passengers are requested to properly wear face masks, follow social distancing restrictions, and sanitize their hands. At Kigali International Airport, a smart robot named Urumuri, meaning the light, will be checking passengers' body temperature, remind them to keep a safe distance, and adjust their face masks properly.
Please wear a mask. Please adjust your face mask.
Hari robo bita Urumuri izajya idufasha kubahiriza ingamba zijyanye no gukumira COVID.
This robot here will help us check if the guidelines to control COVID are respected.
Begeranye cyane batubahirije distance ikenewe, ifite ubushobozi bwo kujya ibabwira ati mwubahirize distance.
It will be circulating all over the place to check if passengers are keeping a safe distance and wearing face masks properly at all times. The airport cafeteria staff have been prepared and are already doing their job in accordance with COVID-19 measures. The national airline company Rwandair plans to resume its flight operations, starting with neighboring and regional destinations, including Nairobi, Lusaka, Cotonou, Libreville, and Dubai for international flights. The number of flight destinations will increase depending on the situation of COVID-19 and how restrictions are being observed in other countries.